Hello ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. My name is Sean and I'm from 6th class, Rampark, County Louth in the Cooley Mountains. What you're about to hear is amazing, a true piece of art. I made it with my classmates and it's about the area we live in and the folklore and stories. Enjoy.
Hello boys and girls, my name is Cormac and I'm here with my good pal Fenton, and today we are going to be doing a short podcast on my local area, Piedmount.
Piedmount is a place in County Louth where me and Cormac live. There is a derelict house in Piedmount called Piedmount House. Also a cobbled road used to run down to Lordship Hall. Beside Lordship Church there is a shop called Nelson's. At the field where Lordship Hall was, there is a bridge that the railway village train ran above. Piedmount starts from Lordship Church and ends at the B&B at the end of Piedmount.
Stories from Thomas McDermott in 1938. In the infancy of Piedmount, there is a rat on the mountainside, and in this mountainside rat there is a hill known as Knockroasta. It is believed that there is an underground tunnel leading from Knockroasta to Tippins Wood. Thank you very much for listening to the end of our podcast. Hope you enjoy.
Hello, my name is Shay and her name is
Maeve.
And today we are doing our podcast on a small town in Lordship called Lochamoor.
Lochamoor in English means big lake house. There are 4 houses in Lochamoor. Lochamoor is roughly 300 to 350 acres. Lochamoor runs from the main road down to the shore.
History. There are lots of fields in Lochamoor, such as Backsfield, Boilerfield, Spudfield and lots more. The reason why we call one of our fields Backsfield is because years ago Beck designed Duffy's house in 1777 and then died. When my granda was young, some of his neighbours were ploughing our field and it was getting dark. They stopped as they were doing the job with horses. The next day was Sunday, so they left the horse in the yard. That night my granda was going to feed them and they weren't there. So he told the 2 boys that owned the horse to go and look for them. So the 2 boys went looking for them that night. They checked Backsfield while they were going up. The dogs began to tug and tear, and they broke loose. They ran home, so the 2 boys walked on, and they saw a big tall man dressed in all black. They says, "Are you okay?" And Beck says nothing. And he kept walking towards them. The boys ran home. The next day the horses were found in the haggart. That is me and Maeve's podcast. Thanks for listening.
Hello, my name is Sarah.
And I'm Abby.
And today we're going to be talking about Riverstown. Once there was a man who made nails and people called him the Nailer, but his real name was Rimmons. There was 2 boys who stole apples and they filled a whole bag full, but they needed a quiet place to divide all their loot. So they went to a graveyard and emptied their bag and started separating it all.
But a man who was passing on the road heard them, so he ran to the neighbour's house and said, "Come to the graveyard until you hear God and the devil dividing souls." The old mill. There was an old mill used for corn. It was working for 600 years, but now it is used for parties and weddings. Thank you for listening and bye. Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Sean and with me I have Rebecca, Ross, Sarah, Michelle, Kaylon, Aaron and Molly. And today we'll be talking about Rampark. Firstly, according to the Dutchist website, long ago the old people in Rampark had their own cures for certain things. If anybody had a toothache, they would smoke brown paper in a pipe to cure it. Another old cure for the toothache was to get a red hot penny and put it in a glass of whiskey and then drink the whiskey. Some people chew the roots of the wild iris to cure the toothache. The cure they had long time ago to put a pain of donkeys with to cure pain
was to put donkey whiskers on you and roll with pigs and yell, Hannah Mokana.
There were two brothers and sisters on the Rampark bank. Their names were Deans. Their jobs was tailoring. They would sit up all night making clothes. They said that many nights they saw fairies. They were tailors for half a century. They were about 75 when they died. They charged 10 shillings for a man's suit, and you would have to purchase the clothes yourself. They made suits for the RIC. If you look up on the mountain from the school, you can see where they made drills for the potatoes.
Our townland is called Rampark. Rampark means the field of tracks. Rampark is in the middle of Lordship. Rampark has an area of 1,711,500.
Stop again. Hang on a sec. Ready? Just say Rampark has, so we'll put a little click in there and then we know to come back. Okay? Quiet, guys. Quiet.
Rampark has an area of 1,711,511 metres squared. It is the 105th largest townland in County Louth. Rampark is the 14,809th largest townland. Rampark borders the following townlands: Annalaughan, Loughnmore, Piedmount and Slieve-na-Glock. In Rampark there is one primary school called Rampark NS. The old Rampark school, about 200 metres from the new school, was built in 1852 and continued in operation until 1959, where the new 3-teacher school was opened. An extension of 4 classrooms was built in 1989, and at present the school has 183 pupils.
7 class teachers, 1 full-time and 1 shared SET. In Rampark there was one GAA team called St Patrick's GFC, which was founded in 1953. The Pats home pitch is named Park Eamon. It was named after the parish priest when he gifted the Pats the land. The Pats won the championship 7 times, with the most recent being in 2015. The Pats have underage boys teams from under 7 to senior level, and in girls it goes every second year.
The railway used to run through Railway Village. It went from Dundalk to Greenore to Newry. It used to go under a hotel in Newry to keep dry. There is also an old rusty old tank in Railway Village that was used for the train. History of Rampark. The one thing I know is that my neighbour's house, Pat Finnegan, his house used to be a station for the railway, and at the front of his house he has a sign saying something about the old station. There used to be a tunnel under our road to get the other side of the railway.
This story was written by...
Hang on. No, we're good. Ready? And...
This story was written by Thomas Flanagan on the 16th of December 1938. We found the story on the school's folklore community mission. There is a lias midway between the road and the sea in Rampark on Joe McArdle land. It is a round shape and there are 2 gaps in it and a patch through it. It is said that the fairies used to play pitch and toss in it. One day a man found a coin with a very old date on it. There are also a ditch around the lias and trees.
Old Fairy Fort. Long ago there was a rat which used to be on Peter Woods' mountain called Cannock Ropa. There was supposed to be an opening. One day a man found the opening and went in. When he went in, he found a tunnel. He followed the tunnel until he came to a place where fairies were sitting. They asked him what he wanted, and he replied, "I want a pot of gold." They gave him the gold. He went home all happy. This story was written by Thomas Flanagan on the 16th of December 1936. We found this story on the school's folklore commission. Thank you for listening. Bye.
Hello, people. My name is Shane, and this is
Sarah.
and we're doing our townland on Mount Bagnall.
The train went from Dundalk to Greenore and stopped in Railway Village. And it went over 2 bridges, and there was also a landlord called Mount Bagnall from the area. And there's a pub and a shop in the area, and a lot of ghost stories about old houses and places like that. The bridge has old seats from the train, as my brother says. There also is a huge river that goes to the sea, and you can get salmon in it sometimes and trout in it all the time. One time, me and my brother caught a trout in the river. Facts. There was a landlord called Mount Bagnall. The railway went through Mount Bagnall. There is a pub called Ferguson's. There is a quarry down at the hill. There is a shop called Sheeran's.
Mount Bagnall. Our town island is called Mount Bagnall. There is a beach called Giles's Quay. Mount Bagnall is owned by people called Hanlons. There is a pub called Ferguson's. There's also a shop called Sheelan's Shop. Near the road to Giles's Quay, there is a haunted house to the left. There was a landlord and his surname was Mount Bagnall. This is made by Shane and Holly, and thanks to Sarah to help with it.
Hello everybody, this is our podcast on Jenkinstown. I am Patrick.
I'm Grace.
And I'm Kaylin.
This is the introduction to Jenkinstown. Jenkinstown is a parish. It is the home of the famous Magic Hill, and if you continue north you'll find the Long One's grave.
On the 27th of September 1941, 3 men of Ferry Command Royal Air Force lost their lives in a tragic crash on the slopes above Jenkinstown in County Louth, Ireland. Early on that morning, an aircraft was observed flying near Waterford. It made its way up the country until it landed at Ballydonnell Aerodrome outside Dublin.
A visit to Jenkinstown, October 2011. The compiler of this report made a visit to Jenkinstown, Almeen area in early October 2011. The first house visited was luckily a neighbour of mine. Owen Hines pointed the reporter in the direction of my grandfather. He took the reporter up to Duffy's house beside the crash site. The paper published an article on the crash with the help of my grandfather.
A Holy Well, a story by Annie McGeown, Jenkinstown, Dundalk. There was a well in the townland of Jenkinstown, at the back of Mrs. McGee's house. It is near a bog and there is a lane going over to it. The name given to this well is St. Anne's Well. It is supposed by some to be a holy well, but some say a man was hung at it. The well is not very deep. Thank you for listening to our podcast. Goodbye.